Views expressed by CamaPlan podcast guests may not reflect those of CamaPlan. CamaPlan does not guarantee the accuracy of information provided by guests, nor does it endorse or recommend any individual or organization. CamaPlan is not an investment advisor, CPA, realtor, or attorney. You are encouraged to conduct your own due diligence before making investment choices. For any tax, legal, accounting, investment, or other questions, please consult a specialist. Welcome back to the road to financial freedom, where experts share stories and secrets to unlocking financial independence. This podcast is brought to you by CamaPlan, a self-directed IRA administrator focused on educating investors on how to grow retirement savings faster through alternative investments. I'm Ricky Trong, CamaPlan team member and podcast host. In each episode, we're going to take an in-depth look at the many roads taken to financial freedom and how they differ for each of our guests. Today's guest is Kevin Amolsch. Kevin is a successful real estate investor and private money lender. He's an author of 45 Day Investor, a frequent speaker, and has been quoted in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, the Denver Post, Yahoo Real Estate and Business Journals, and Forbes as well. Now, to hear about his information, his background, and his story, please welcome Kevin Amolsch to the show. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Hey, Ricky. I'm so fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm really excited we were able to get set up on this. I'm really excited to hear about your story and basically what you do and how you help people on their financial freedom journey. So let's just start there. Tell me about your background. Tell me what's going on for you now in the future, things like that.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for sure. So out of high school, I went into the Army. And one thing about the Army is you don't make very much money, but you don't spend it either. So had a little savings going. And I'm like, you know what? What am I going to do with this small savings account? I can't become wealthy keeping it in the bank. So I started researching different investment vehicles. And pretty much everybody that I read or every book that I read said, go into real estate. Look at this vehicle. And so I did that. I bought my first house. I was 21, moved into it, moved out of it, kept it as a rental. And when I saw the cash flow and the appreciation, I knew that real estate was the vehicle I was going to use to become wealthy. And I just focused in on that. What I love about real estate the most is the financing side of it. It's really the deal structure, how you put it together, how you negotiate it. So I focused on that side of the business. And now private money lender, 120 million, something like that under management. We're lending mostly in Colorado, Minnesota, but nationwide for the right borrower and the right project. So things are going fantastic.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And you actually have a similar story to me where I am currently renting out our first home that my husband and I bought, and we're starting to see the amazing opportunities coming from there. So I love that we have that in common. It was both our first houses, a rental, and hopefully it'll lead me to my financial freedom journey as well.
It's pretty amazing what the power of real estate is. It's pretty amazing how well off you could be if you just stick to it.
Yeah, definitely. And it sounds hard at first, there's so much to learn, but once you start getting that knowledge and gaining it, it's kind of flows together real simply. At least from what I know, and I'm not like the smartest person or a math major or anything like that, but to me, it's definitely coming together in a good way.
Yeah, I know with your company, Cama, the self-directed IRA stuff, I'm sure you see all kinds of different investments, and there's multiple ways you could invest in real estate. It doesn't have to be your path and my path. We chose to go the rental route, but there's lots of different ways to make money in this business.
Yeah. Do you want to tell me about some of those different ways or some of the things that you see through your business? Now, your business is called Pine Financial Group, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
If you think about a real estate, the whole world of real estate, there's really kind of two ways to approach it from an investment side. There's the active investor side, like you and I are doing. And then there's more of the passive investment side where maybe you're investing in somebody else's project or lending them some money and let them do all the work. Now, the passive side has some tremendous benefits. You don't have the risk of owning property, especially with whatever might be coming in the market. You don't have You don't have the hassles of the tenants and the toilets, but your returns are a little bit lower, right? It's really passive and you're relying on somebody else's skill. On the active side, gosh, you have tenants paying off your loans, you have appreciation, you got some tremendous tax benefits. And of course, over time, the value of the properties will increase. So you're really getting paid 4 different ways on that side. But then you have to deal with the tenants and toilets and the tenant locking himself out at night and all of that stuff that we could probably talk about for the entire episode here.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that firsthand. So I can totally understand that. And I love that you mentioned the passive side, because a lot of people, they know it's an opportunity, but I don't think they know how to get into that. So, I mean, do you have any advice or suggestions on how someone could get started passively instead of, just straight up owning something and being very invested personally?
Yeah, Ricky, I'm so glad you asked that, because it's difficult to find those investments. Those types of investments are normally reserved for the wealthy and the accredited investors and all of that. And if you're not in those investment groups and clubs that are kind of invite only, it's hard to find these different investments that are out there. And we're talking about passive investing in real estate. You're talking about Main Street investments and not Wall Street. And Wall Street is like the most volatile investment, maybe other than crypto, that you can have. And we're always told this is the safe way. Go this way, go this way. And I know that's why the self-directed IRAs come in and so popular and so beneficial for investors, is because then you could take control of your money. You don't have to invest in Wall Street and deal with that volatility. I know I'm going all over the place here, but to answer your question, it's really networking. You got to find the right people that have projects that you can invest in. And I could share a free report with your viewers or listeners if you'd like on how to stay safe in those types of investments. But real estate investment clubs and real estate investment forums, like online forums, those are where you're going to find these alternative investments.
Yeah, no, we would love that informational piece. So yeah, if you could share that, I'll put it in the notes and the show notes today. So that's amazing. For Pine Financial Group, what are kind of things that you deal with directly? Because I know that you have clients and you help them with easy qualifying for, properties or investing, or is it strictly for them being a first-time home buyer, things like that? Get into that a little bit.
Yeah, good. So we have 2 sides to our business. We bring in private capital. We have a public fund, so it's like a mutual fund, and we loan that money out to real estate developers and real estate investors. So on the borrower side of our business, we help real estate investors only. No first-time home buyers, none of that. It has to be for profit. So if you're buying rentals, you're buying fix and flips. We do some new construction projects. And recently, in the last couple of years, we've started doing more and more commercial value add. So let's say a beat up warehouse building that you're going to chop up and put into like micro bays or small bay industrial, and you're adding value to it. So we'll finance that kind of thing. We really want to see construction, rehab, or some type of value add to the project for us to be interested in it. And on the investment side, it's for our investors, it's really just passive. They invest in it and they just get their check every single month.
Oh, hey, that sounds easy. I like that. Just bring on my check. I love that. So I know that your business, you like to talk about putting no money down for real estate. That's something you guys preach over there at Pine Financial Group, right? Tell me a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, we believe strongly that if the investor can find a high quality deal and we know it's going to be profitable for them, we vet them, we vet the project, we're willing to finance 100% of it, but we're going to cap our loan amount at a percentage of the completed value. So I know this can get a little bit confusing, so I'll just go through a simple example here. Yeah. Let's say we take a house, you fix it up, you want to flip it, fix and flip like you see on TV, and it's worth $100,000 after the construction. So we'll loan $70,000 on that property. Now, if you're good at finding deals, good at negotiating them, maybe you find a house for $50,000 or $55,000 and it takes $15,000 in construction. Well, we'll finance the purchase and the construction and still be under our 70% threshold there. So it's really about the quality of the project, how much we'll lend on it.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting. Now, what about private money lending? Do you handle that at all or dive into that at all with your business?
Yeah, that's exactly what we are. We consider it a private money loan because we don't have the red tape and the little box that you hear about in the conventional lending world. We can get outside the box. We can get creative. It's our money that we've raised in our fund, so we make the decisions here. We service the loans. So our clients could literally talk to the underwriter and we could come up with a solution that fits them. As long as we're safe and we can help you make money, we're in.
Okay. But you only handle like investment type properties, right? So if someone were to come to you buying their home, even if it's not a first time home, it wouldn't be a client that would fit your needs. They would have to be investing, correct?
Yeah. And that's going to be Ricky with every hard money lender, every private money lender. It's going to be pretty universal. And the reason for that is RESPA and TILA and all of these regulations that came out of the housing crash in 2008. They really, really want to protect consumers. So they put lots of restrictions. They make it hard to foreclose. They put moratoriums and all of the stuff that makes lenders scared to make those loans. So for us, we stick with commercial only. So it has to be for a property that's going to produce income. And it's seriously across the board. Hard money lenders are staying away from consumer lending right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't know that. So thank you. I mean, this show is all about education. I'm learning, our audience is learning. So that's awesome. Thanks for letting us know that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you were in the military and you wanted to find a journey for yourself. Did you take any of those lessons you learned being in the military and do you put them into everyday usage? We've had prior military guests on here and they always have some way that they kind of incorporate what they learned through the military into their everyday, into their everyday working habits or what they do to input for their clients. So I'd love to hear if, that kind of story or information that you put forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go listen to those episodes because I'm not sure. I mean, to be real honest with you, I didn't learn anything in the military that's going to help me in my career. Now that you get some good habits, of course, because there's so much discipline and structure. So a huge benefit there. Obviously, helped me with my school, helped me with my degree and all of that. As far as lessons, though, not much. But I was infantry, so they taught me how to, shoot guns and throw hand grenades and. So it's hard to relate those. Had a great time, but I'm not going to get rich in the military. So I had to move on.
No, that's okay. But I mean, you learned discipline and things of that nature, which really, I think it goes into a work ethic. I think you did learn from that because you have a successful business and you're also like confident and able to talk to people, talk to, clients. And I think that's a huge thing that the military tends to bring. And it's a running theme, at least, is it teaches you how to, just portray yourself in a certain way that you can be trustworthy and people want to do business with you because you have that accolade. So yeah, I mean, I would say it definitely taught you something. I love that.
Well, it teaches you not to cut corners because you get in a lot of trouble if you cut a corner. So.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with you were telling me, how much things have been really locked down since the housing market, just a few minutes ago. So, I mean, you don't want to cut corners. And I think that's a great lesson. Awesome. Okay. So what does financial freedom mean to you? I know a lot of people say time, but is there anything that strictly sticks out to you about financial freedom that really put you on this journey?
Yeah, so we talk about that a lot, don't we? I'll tell you a quick story. When I was 9 years old, I lost my mom to cancer. And that was hard on me. And my dad raised me and my brother and my sister. So there's three of us. And he raised us. And he wasn't financially free at all. We were lower middle class. And he didn't make the right choices with his money. And it created a problem later in his life. So it was hard for him to retire. And, financial freedom for me was to buy him that house free and clear. Buy him that car free and clear so he could retire. Retiring my dad, that was my why. Wow. Now, what does it mean? We all hear, do what you want, when you want, where you want, with who you want. We hear that. It's financial freedom is freedom, full freedom.
I love that. And I am so sorry to hear about the passing of your mother, but I feel like, it really gave you that motivation to help your dad retire, and you've put him in such a better place by, paying off all those things for him. And I think that's a motivational story for a lot of our listeners, because you never know what people are going through, and they may have a similar upbringing, to you, and they can see, oh my gosh, I can do this as well. It's not that hard. And maybe that's the jump that they needed. So thank you. I appreciate you sharing that story with us. It's amazing, Kevin.
We all go through some hell, right? Everybody does. No one's immune to it. How can we use that to our benefit, I guess? And we talk about that all the time. Like, what is your why? Why do you want the financial freedom? Why do you want that money in the bank account? If you can nail that down, then you'll be successful.
Wow. I like that. I was just going to ask you what's some good advice, but hey, you just gave it to me right there. I love that. Yes, definitely find out your why and, reach it. Definitely, like, reach for the stars, as they used to say, right?
And awesome. Here's the goal. I want to make this amount of money, or I want this amount in the bank. I want this amount in my self-directed retirement account, but none of that matters. What matters is, why do you want that? Right. So that's what you're trying to dig through. Peel back the onion a little bit. Try to figure out why you want to be rich, or why you want to be financially free. Without that, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, definitely. And I see that you guys have a YouTube, correct?
Yeah, we're kind of proud of that, even though it's growing rather slowly. But yeah, we love educating people. We love doing that for free.
Okay.
We just want to help as many people as we possibly can. So YouTube is like the perfect medium for that. We haven't started the podcast like you guys are doing here, Ricky. So maybe that's in our future. But we're having a lot of fun with the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Having a YouTube channel, it reaches so many different people, and they might not even know what they're looking for. And sometimes it can suggest something in the algorithm that they looked at, and then it can just pop up in their videos. What kind of things that you post on there that, for educational purposes?
So it's all the same stuff that we're talking about here. How do you help people with their finances and become financially free? But it's very specific, related to real estate investors. So we're not going to be talking about the stock market, or how to trade crypto, or what index to do this, or what any of that. We're not into that, or budgeting. We're not into any of that. How can I help you make money in the real estate world? So anything that's related to that, you'll find that on the channel.
Okay, that's awesome. Do you want to give us a sneak peek of something that you guys talk about, how to make me money? Because I want to know. I want to make some money.
We just dropped a video today about comparing the 1990s housing crash till today. I think that's super relevant for real estate investors, because we can't really compare it to 2008. There's just too many differences from then until now. So how do you know what's coming? Well, let's go back in time further to see if we could find something that's more relatable. Mark Twain says history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. Totally true. So let's see, what can we learn from that time to now, so we can prepare and be better investors going forward. So that's the video that dropped today. But we talk about how to buy properties with no money down, how to find off-market deals, how to negotiate, how to talk to sellers, all of that.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm going to have to look into that. I feel like that would be great knowledge, especially for our clients here at CamaPlan as well. So they're always looking for new ways to sneak into the market and find new investments. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Of course.
Yeah. So is there a story or anything that, kind of hit home with you, that kind of helped you on the trajectory you're on now, like starting the business or whatever it is? Is there anything really in that story catalog?
Yeah, I've got lots of stories. Let me just think about my very first deal outside of my very first creative deal. So you could go find a property, put 20% down, sign a loan for 30 years, and the normal way, right? Or you can get a little bit more creative and try to negotiate a short sale with a bank, or do a lease with an option to buy with a motivated seller. So there's lots of different ways you could do this. Well, when I was getting started, I decided to chase foreclosures, because that's what all the seminars told me to do. And so I was calling people in foreclosure on the phone, doing this while I was walking between classes, right? So I'm going through the yard at the university and just hitting the phones, trying to find motivated sellers. Ended up finding one, and the coach said, you gotta negotiate a short sale, because they owe more than it's worth. on the house, right? And a short sale is the bank that has the loan accepting less than what is owed to release the lien on the house so that you can negotiate a lesser pay down so you can create the equity that way. So it was like fantastic. This is gonna be my first short sale. I was psyched. Like this was gonna work. Coach says get a lien or get the deed from the house so you can negotiate this and then just pay them off. So you really want to get control of the deal. So I accepted the deed. I took ownership of the house before paying off the loan. But in order to do that, I had to pay him $3,000. I didn't have $3,000.
Wow.
Brought in a partner. He put in the $3,000, ready to negotiate this deal. Went to the, it's supposed to be easy, right? That's what they teach you in the seminars. Negotiated with the bank, and the bank said, no, we're not going to accept your offer. So the house ended up going into foreclosure. I got wiped off the title, lost my $3,000 with my partner. And that's when I realized that, this game is for real here. You can lose some money. But I learned a ton, and my next deal was successful. Deal after that was successful, made 30 grand on that one.
Wow.
So it's just a process here. But that loss and that first leap out into the unknown really helps you get you going.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning lesson because you're like, I don't want to do that ever again. So how can I make sure that this works, in my favor next time? So that had to be a good learning opportunity.
We started rehabbing that house. It was crazy. We were rehabbing it before we even.
Oh my gosh. So you had money in that house already.
Yeah, it was mostly sweat equity. So we were pulling the stuff out, doing the demo.
Bashing in some walls. Well, at least you got some anger out. You didn't know you had the anger, but you got it out. Oh man. So I know that you have a book, I believe, right? 45-Day Investor. Can you tell me a little bit about that? I'd love to know more.
Yeah. So I was buying one property, two properties, one or two every single month. I was a full-time student. I was working at a bank at the time, and people kept asking me, like, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? This is amazing. You're making all this money in investing in real estate and you're a kid, basically. I decided to write a biography to kind of help people understand like what my journey was to success in this business. Well, it turned into more of a how-to book. And it walks through exactly how to buy properties with no money down. The scripts are in there, the forums I use with the motivated sellers, how I find them, how I negotiate them, how I find my tenants, all of that. And it all stemmed from people just asking me over and over, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? Gosh, I better write a book. So that's what happened.
There you go. That's amazing. I feel like that happens to a lot of people. They write something down and then, a few stories turn into an entire book because it's just like they're being nagged by other people. Keep telling me what you did. And it's even like this podcast. Like I could probably write a book about all the stories of the people on the podcast. I love that. That's awesome. That's great motivation right there. I mean, I remember when I was younger and I think I was in 3rd grade and I had to write a short story, and it ended up being used as like an 8th grade example of how to write a story. And I was like, I didn't even know like I was that good. So I guess I could do it too if I really put my mind to it.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes you feel good, right?
It did. I mean, I didn't understand it at the time really because I was so young, but think about it today, I actually was talking to my manager and I had mentioned that story too. And I was like, wow, that's like a big deal. It wasn't a big deal back then, but I was like, now that I'm like 33, I'm like, wow, that was really impressive.
That's big. And now look at you. You're a podcast host. You're like becoming famous.
I know. That's what I'm hoping for. Hey, E-News or whatever, I'm here.
That's right.
Oh, that's so funny. I love that. And I love that you have a lot of different things that you're doing, and it's just all really educational, and you're really wanting to help clients really succeed. And it sounds like even if they're not your clients, you still want them to succeed because you're providing that free information on YouTube. You have this book and that's available to everyone. So I'm really excited about that. I think I'm going to have to read that book because I need to know some of those scripts and things that you use so that I could better my own investing ability and my husband's, and just make sure that we have the right things to say when I'm assuming it talks about like talking into, getting money and getting backers and things like that. Or is it just
I've got another book. The manuscript's done. Talk about a lot of that stuff. This is really my early years when I was getting going and how I was able to buy properties with no money and no credit and all that. So it's kind of like my journey at the very beginning and how I got going.
Okay.
Much less I'm not there raising private capital or anything like that. But it's an easy, fantastic way to get started and start building a rental portfolio. So that's why I wrote it.
Oh, okay. And that's great too for anyone that's pretty much a new investor. So they can kind of learn from your experiences and what helped you along the way. So, I mean, that works for me too. Like I said, I only have the one property. So I'm going to have to read it anyway, because it'll help me continue that journey as well. So that's amazing. Thanks, Kevin. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to have to get that link. Is it on your website on the financialgroup.com?
Yeah, I think so. But it's just 45dayinvestor.com.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Perfect.
45dayinvestor.com.
45dayinvestor.com. That's perfect. Awesome.
And that free report, if anybody wants to stay safe, if you're passively investing in real estate, this is more on the lending side. So if you're lending money to somebody else for their project, that's thepinereport.com. So thepinereport.com.
Okay, awesome.
I want to make sure I got that in there, Ricky, before I forgot, because I know you said you'd be.
Yeah, well, I could.
Listeners might want that.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm glad we plugged that here because I just wrote it down. I have it in the notes for later. I'll definitely make sure that they're all listed below. And then what's the best way that people reach out to you? Like if they want a consultation or if they just want to learn more, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, it's going to be tough to do a consultation with me. More than likely, I'm pretty busy, but I have a fantastic team. So we would spend all the time that we can to help you get wherever you're wanting to go. Really the best place is pinefinancialgroup.com. So I would just send everybody there. And if they want to fill out the form to contact somebody on the team, that would be the best way to do it.
Okay, awesome. Pinefinancialgroup.com. If you want to reach out to Kevin and his team, reach out there. And do you suggest anything that they should have prepared or know in advance for when they do get that call back or that email back for the consultation that they requested?
Yeah, I guess it depends on what they're trying to accomplish. So if they're looking for a private, like a passive investment, nothing, just give us a call. If you're looking to borrow some money, brand new, just give us a call and we'll help you out. If you have a specific project in mind, we really want to know about the project. So be prepared to talk about the numbers. Like how much is the construction? Have you got bids? That kind of thing.
Okay.
But if it's brand new, you don't have any project identified, just give us a call and let's just have a conversation.
Okay, that sounds really easy. I like it. And you have a team that's willing to help everyone, the best to their ability, as long as it's within the wheelhouse that you guys handle. So that's awesome. Really great. That's really awesome. And I know that you have a LinkedIn. Is there any other socials that people can, follow you or follow your business on?
I think YouTube is probably the best, just YouTube /Pine Financial. Any comments or anything that go in there, it's usually me that's responding to those. So that'd be a good way. Yeah, then you got my LinkedIn and the website. Those are really the best ways to get a hold of us.
Okay, perfect. And what would be one, like a last minute or a last piece of advice or a quote that you think would resonate with our audience in regards to what we spoke about today or just investing in general?
Yeah, there's quite a few here. This can go for a while. But one thing that's on my mind, just because of the way this conversation went, we were talking about the book and the scripts and all of that. I think having a process, so creating a process for your success is super huge. If you think about sports, I'm a big sports fan. You think about baseball, for example, and someone walks up to hit the ball, right? They go up to the plate. They might hit the bat on the plate a few times. They might take 3 or 4 practice swings and then they're ready, right? There's a routine. And they do that every single time they go up to the plate to hit the ball. The best ones do anyway. And why do we do that? Because it works. That's what works. Have a process.
Have a process, stick to a routine. I mean, I feel like that can connect with so many things in life, but definitely with investing and learning your niche, I think is also comes to play. So that's awesome.
That's a great one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Kevin, I just had a great conversation with you today. I really enjoyed meeting you and getting to chat about, the highs and lows and everything of that nature. And, I'm looking forward to continuing this conversation in the future here. I just want to say thank you to our sponsor, CamaPlan, for today. And of course, again, to Kevin Amolsch. I really appreciate you being here on the show. And if anyone's interested in learning more about self-directed IRAs, please go to CamaPlan.com. You can request a consult, view our media library of webinars or podcasts, and you can open an account today. So thank you for listening. And remember to like, follow, and share our podcast, The Road to Financial Freedom, to continue with us on this journey on the path of finding success. Hope everyone has a great day. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bye,
Ricky.
Kevin. Thank you.